Hello everyone, Michelle here from the Creative Cove. Something a little different today as part of my home decor series videos that I'm starting to record. I picked up this little sculpture for $6 at the thrift shop, and I thought I would turn her into a witch. So I know it's a bit early for Halloween, but something in the air just makes me want to start creating some fun things. I sold a lot of my home decor items when we decided to build our own home. I didn't want to pay for storage, so I have zero Halloween decorations. And even though my kids have grown, I still love Halloween. I still love to make my own things. So this is just using cheap dollar store clay, air dry clay, and this is cheap clay. It will dry and crack, but I plan on covering this with some papier-mâché style technique after, once it's dry, and you'll see that soon. Here I'm just decided to start creating a little hat for her because nothing says witch like a witch's hat. And I'm just having fun manipulating the clay. Like I said, this is a very cheap clay and it's kind of old. It's been used a little bit. So it is not the freshest of clay. It is cracking already, but I want to use it up. The idea behind doing my own home decor items is thrifting and recycling things. I just love that challenge. I love using whatever I can get my hands on that's the cheapest and recreating something. Can you buy this witch already? Something like this? Sure you can. But the idea is it's made by my own hands and it takes me in a different direction every time I play with her. I find, oh, I want to go in this direction. I kind of have a visual of what I want her to look like. But in the end, I'm really, really pleased with her. So I hope this video or these video series, I know that some people are not happy with me having kind of introduced this line of creativity on my channel, but this was always kind of my goal to use all kinds of different mediums and just be creative on this channel. This might not be for you. You might follow me because of my drawings and my quickie sketch series or my working with paper. And I totally understand that if you're not interested in these videos. But I've had a few comments on people who have kind of just basically said that they're not going to watch me anymore and that they're disappointed with me doing these videos, and that's really unfortunate, and it really it hurts my feelings a little, to be honest. It's all about being creative and sharing here on this platform. So if you are still with me, I truly appreciate it. And if it's not something you're into, please share it with maybe a friend that is, because I really would like to continue doing these videos, and I probably will, as well as my paperwork and drawing series. But this channel is called the Creative Cove, and it's all about being creative in any medium, in any way that I can get my hands on. So I've decided, now that I've covered her hair and built her hat, that I want her to have this really fun kind of flared collar. And I thought I might as well make that out of the clay as well, since I have some left. And she's got a nice little face, so I'm not going to cover her face. I'm just going to try and incorporate some sort of interest in her garment. I want to make it more witchy, if that's a word. And so I'm just going to play with the clay and mold it into a collar. So the idea is, I would love for her hands to be open where I could put a broomstick in there, but unfortunately her arms are sealed to her body, so I'll be limited on what I can do for her clothing because I can't wrap anything really around her waist. But I do feel like I can add something later to it once I have a look in my stash and see what fabrics I might have. So for now, I'm just going to build her up, kind of design her collar, make it as witchy as possible, and just have fun. So here I am, I've got my cheapy Elmer's glue, and you can see how cracked she got. Piece actually broke off when I picked her up, but that's okay. Because I want to add this tissue paper that I have laying around, I want to add this to the clay anyways, because I want to create some really fun fabric texture later. So I'm dumping this glue in some water. Don't really have a ratio here. I'd say maybe a quarter water to 3/4 glue. And now's the time to buy that cheap glue. The back to school stuff is dirt cheap, so I think I paid $1 for that. And I'm going to glue that piece back in, and then I'm simply going to tear up these little bits of tissue paper. This is going, with the glue, this is going to reinforce that clay so it's not quite so fragile. And I'm just going to put layer after layer around. And secondly, what it does is it leaves these creases in that when we dust it later with some dried paint technique, it's going to grab all those little ridges of paper and kind of make it look like a fabric, which was my intention in the first place. So you'll see in the video here, I basically cover the clay in layers of saturated wet glue, because again, the glue will help stabilize that clay and make it stronger. So if she tips over, she's not going to break. You know, we're not going to waste all our time making her super, super fragile. I'm going to avoid getting any paper on her face. I'm going to reinforce everywhere that there is clay. I put down some tissue paper further down to make it look like when we paint the dress later, it's one solid piece of fabric behind her arms. So I wanted that texture to be included. So here I am just using some black gesso paint that I have left over. It's pretty old stuff. I'm not even sure if the brand's available anymore. It's just what I had in my stash. You can use any black acrylic paint at this point. You do want to make sure she is completely dry. And I forgot to mention as well, you want to make sure she's completely dry before you start doing the papier-mâché part. You don't want any moisture in her. You want to avoid any chance of mold growing. So there she is completely painted. And I just gave her, I think, a coat, almost 2 coats, because of the texture, I had to go back in and fill in a few spaces. So this here is a grocery bag, just a run-of-the-mill reusable grocery bag. It's black, so I used it. It's the only black fabric I actually could get my hands on, and it's cheap, so I thought this would be perfect. So I'm just going to cut it up into some manageable pieces here. Cut off the reinforced bit, and I thought what I would make is a cute little bustle. Is it called a bustle? Bustle? I'm not sure. And a bottom of the dress for her. I think, like I said before, I wanted to add some fabric. Here I am trying to play with how I'm going to go about making her fit in this, because I can't wrap it around her waist because her hands are in the way. I have to figure out a way to make it look cohesive. So I decided to create this little gathered stitch. So I threaded a needle off camera because it takes me about 20 minutes to thread a needle with these eyes that I have. And I'm just going to do a quick gather stitch along the top here. Now my video is 2 times the speed, so that the video is not 100 hours long. I don't want these videos to last too long. I want you to be able to enjoy watching them in between your chores or whatever it is you're doing, and get inspired. That's the goal behind these videos. So I don't want them super long. No, I don't work this fast. I wish I could work this fast, but I don't. So I'm going to just do a gathered stitch here and tie it off and push it all together and create a knot. And this will be the bottom of her little bustle. I hope I'm saying that right, bustle. I'm not sure what they're called. So I figure I'm going to hot glue it there, but I need to pop the back of the dress out. First I'm going to tie a knot and finish off that so the thread doesn't come out. And then I'm going to figure out, I'm looking on my desk and I've got some tissue paper still kicking around. I've been using this on a few projects. So I'm just going to squeeze it in and create a little hump there. I want to make sure that you can't see the white tissue paper from the front, because I'm not going to bother painting it black. So I'm just going to glue that down, and then I'll flip her over and make sure that I can't see it from the front. And then we'll glue the little skirt piece down and create a little gown for her. Because we already did the collar, we don't have to put any fabric up top. We're just gonna create a little interest at the bottom. Because she's got a dramatic hat, I think she needs a dramatic little skirt. So it's a bit hard to see, but I'm gluing around the edge here. I'm just gluing the top of that up to her arms. So because her arms are there, I can't wrap this right around in front, or it will look like her hands are in her skirt. We don't want that. So I'm just gonna throw some glue in there, tuck this down, and it's created this really cute little dress. I'm just seeing some paint on her face that I want to scratch off there. Try and keep her hands and face clean. A little extra glue in a spot. And there we have our little skirt. So she sees how her little bustle sticks out, and I think that's really cute. I found these feathers. I thrifted a wreath. I haven't upcycled it yet. I'm sure I will in a video, but I pulled a couple of them off, so I thought it'd be fun to somehow add these. I like the idea of adding them to her hat. I tried this powder at first, and it didn't have the effect I wanted, picking up the textures of that. I could have edited this out, but I wanted to show you that you know, crafting is a hit and miss. Sometimes you're working on something and it doesn't turn out the way you want. So then I thought, no, don't like that. So I grabbed some metallic paint from a stash from a long time ago, and I'm going to dry brush this. So I'm going to rub this off. It's a type of copper color, and you can see how well it works. So the secret here is to have very little paint on your brush and just kind of rub over the top and just pick up all those beautiful textures that we created with that tissue paper and glue. So I'm going to use this technique all over where we did the tissue paper to make it look like it's one dress piece. I also decided to paint her hair in this technique as well. I figured she could look like she had a veil coming down between her hat and her dress, as opposed to worrying about the details of her hair. And then just grabbing that color all the way down underneath as if it's one garment she's wearing, which I really like the look of. I just love this tissue paper technique. It's really effective and dirt cheap, which is even better. So now I thought I gotta somehow attach these feathers because they're just so fun. I've got to use them. And I struggle a little bit on where to put them, where I like them. They don't sit up the way I wanted, so you'll see I kind of pull it off, play with it, cut it, try to figure out if I could put a band around her hat, which doesn't really look good, so I decided not to do that. But again, I left all these in. I want you to see that crafting is a journey. You know, you're gonna do things you really love, and then you're gonna peel them off and think, no, I don't like that. And that's the beauty of crafting, is nothing's really permanent. I get a lot of people say they're too intimidated to try something. They buy the stuff, but they're scared it's not gonna work out. Well, you gotta just go into it, get your hands dirty and try it. And what you might like, I might not like, and vice versa. And it's really just your own taste and your own creativity that makes these things come to life. So you can see here I play a few times with the feathers, trying to figure out where I want to put them. And that's what I love about being creative like this, is you really can't do it wrong. You just have to go by feel. So I put 2 on her hat, which I really like. Kind of gives it a bit of a Victorian flair. And then I'm trying to figure out what to do with the others, because I don't want to rip apart all that wreath. I don't want to pull out too many and look at sparse. I could have covered the whole back of the dress with the feathers, but instead I decided I'm just going to use one where it looks like she's holding it, and then try and figure out how to cover how the feathers are attached to her hat. So I end up using a piece of that bag and making just a kind of little flat bow, and I'm pretty happy with it. I was really pleased how she turned out. The biggest challenge was waiting for things to dry, so I worked on other projects in between while I had all the materials out, and that helped a lot, because then I had the patience to wait for her to dry. I have 100,000 spider web glue gun bits stuck to my fingers. I should maybe call it the Messy Crafter channel, or the Impatient Crafter. So there, I'm really happy with her bow. I'm really happy with her. So here she is, all finished and sitting on my shelf. I hope you liked this video. I hope it gave you some inspiration. And I hope you give me a thumbs up and keep watching for more fun videos. Take care, everyone. Thank you. Bye.